So, here's the story. My ex-wife, Rita, and we've been divorced for about 8 years now. We have a 15-year-old daughter together, and honestly, co-parenting has been pretty smooth sailing. No major drama, nothing huge. Until recently. Something happened that made me seriously question whether I should ever let her have custody of our daughter again. And get this, she's now getting a divorce herself, and she's trying to blame me for it. Seriously? Rita got remarried a couple of years ago to a guy named Adrian. From what my daughter tells me, Adrian seems like a decent guy. But his son, Derek? That's a whole different story. Derek is about 3 years older than my daughter, and he just graduated high school. My daughter has always said he's arrogant, a bit of a bully. She avoids him like the plague, and Rita knows this. Which honestly makes what Rita did next even more twisted. Derek recently graduated, but his dad, Adrian, wasn't thrilled. Derek barely scraped by, and his college prospects weren't looking good. He hadn't taken anything seriously, and now he and his dad were on terrible terms. Adrian didn't want to celebrate his son's graduation. And look, I'm not here to judge Adrian's parenting. That's his business. But Rita, who's only known Derek for a few years, decided to go against Adrian's wishes and throw a huge party for him. And since she couldn't exactly ask Adrian for money without him finding out, what did she do? She stole. From our daughter. My daughter has a joint account with us, and she's been working her tail off since last year, saving every single penny from her part-time job. Her dream? To buy a nice car when she turns 18. Both Rita and I occasionally contribute, but most of that money? It's hers. And Rita knew this. A couple of days before the party, while our daughter was napping, Rita snuck her debit card. She then went on a shopping spree, buying everything for Derek's party. By the time she was done, she'd blown almost $3,000. $3,000. My daughter, who had worked so hard, was left with just $200. It was an absolute gut punch. She was devastated. It didn't take long for my daughter to realize what had happened. The very next day, she confronted Rita. This was the day before the party, mind you. And Rita? She just told her to cut out the drama, saying the party was happening whether she liked it or not. Then she had the audacity to say that all the money was ours anyway, so it wasn't really our daughter's. Excuse me? My daughter worked for that money. Rita then tried to guilt-trip her, saying the money was going towards her brother's party and she should be happy to make a little sacrifice for the family. She even tried to paint Derek as the bigger victim because his dad wasn't contributing. The nerve! Luckily, my daughter didn't fall for her act. Even though it was Rita's turn to have her, she packed her bags and came straight to my house. She's been here ever since, absolutely refusing to go back. She feels completely betrayed, and honestly, so do I. All she wants is her money back. I tried reasoning with Rita, but it was like talking to a brick wall. The party had already happened, and she just kept insisting the money wasn't really our daughter's, so she wasn't giving it back. I was furious. Rita has a good job. She could have afforded that party herself. Her excuse? She claimed she was saving for our daughter's college, so what she did wasn't that bad. I couldn't even understand her logic. It was pure baloney. After days of fighting, with Rita still flat out refusing, I knew I had to try something else. So, yesterday, I reached out to Adrian. I found him on Facebook, sent him a message explaining everything. I apologized for bothering him, told him how upset my daughter was, and politely suggested he either convince Rita to pay the money back or make arrangements himself. Within hours, he replied. He was mortified. He had no idea this was how Rita had paid for the party. He immediately offered to send the money, and he did, right then and there. Finally, some relief. My daughter and I were both still fuming at Rita, though. We agreed we wouldn't speak to her until she apologized. But then, this morning, the real drama began. Rita showed up at my house, screaming her head off, accusing us of ruining her marriage. Apparently, after I messaged Adrian, he went home and blew up at Rita. He was already mad that she'd thrown the party against his wishes, given Derek's terrible grades and behavior. But finding out she'd stolen from my daughter to fund it? That was the final straw. He called it unforgivable, humiliating. He told her he wanted a divorce. And now she's blaming me? I told her that whatever was happening to her, she'd brought it on herself. But she just got more enraged, accusing me of being jealous of her happiness, trying to ruin her marriage because I was supposedly still hung up on her. I literally rolled my eyes. We'd been divorced for years. I even attended her wedding. These accusations were baseless, and frankly, I was getting fed up. I told her to leave, but she wouldn't. She insisted she wasn't going anywhere until I called Adrian and told him it was all a big misunderstanding. She wanted me to fix her mess. I refused, of course. That just made her crazier. She started stomping around, screaming that she wasn't leaving until I fixed what I had damaged. She was cursing, acting like a total psycho. I started feeling genuinely uncomfortable. I kept telling her to go, but she just wouldn't. Eventually, I had to warn her. If she didn't leave, I'd call the police. That's when she completely broke down, sobbing uncontrollably, falling to the floor. "This is all your fault," she wailed. "And now you're threatening me with the cops?" The whole thing was bizarre. She was so unstable. Then, the final straw. She started mumbling about how her biggest mistake was marrying me and having a daughter with me, and how we were both ruining everything for her. I could handle her attacking me, but the moment she dragged our daughter into it, I snapped. I told her, loud and clear, that she wouldn't have to worry about me or our daughter being part of her life anymore. I was going straight to my lawyer, and I was filing for full custody. And given everything, I was sure our daughter wouldn't mind, and neither would she. She started wailing even louder, calling me a horrible person, saying I was ruining her life, and she didn't deserve any of this. But by then, my sympathy had completely vanished. I didn't care what state she was in. I told her she deserved everything she was getting right now, and Adrian was doing the right thing. And soon, we'd be out of her life too. She tried to cry more, probably for sympathy, but I just grabbed her arm, pulled her to her feet, and practically threw her out of my house. It was a little rough, but I had to. Now she's texting me nonstop, saying I should be respectful and understanding given everything she's going through. I don't know. Am I the jerk for telling her she deserved to be left by her husband and throwing her out? Update 1 asterisk. Hey everyone, thanks for all the comments. I've decided to block Rita. Her behavior has been so stressful lately, and honestly, I think it's in everyone's best interest for me to file for full custody. I talked to my daughter, and she feels the same way. So I've reached out to my lawyer. My daughter also told me that Rita wasn't just bothering me with her endless messages about how we should be kinder to her. She was sending the exact same guilt trip messages to our daughter. How she feels entitled to kindness after what she did, I have no idea. But we've both blocked her. Her behavior that day was truly unstable and scary. I don't want anything to do with her anymore. I really think there's something wrong with her. Whatever it is, it doesn't concern me personally, but since our daughter is legally supposed to spend half the month with her, it does concern me. I know she's going to throw a massive tantrum about the custody filing, but I'm not backing down. We've always been on good terms, worked through disagreements, but lately, I just don't know what's gotten into her. Adrian leaving her speaks volumes. I had a tiny bit of doubt about the custody thing, but after reading her comments and reflecting, stealing from our own daughter like that, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. My daughter has spending limits. Rita probably had to call to modify them. I don't even know my daughter's card code, so Rita must have gone through her diary or something. This wasn't impulsive. That's the scary part. Okay, so I spoke to my lawyer, and we filed for full custody a couple of days ago. I don't think she's been served yet, but I'm already dreading it. But something else happened today that's even more shocking. Adrian paid me a visit this evening. It was strange, we're not friends, and with the divorce, I figured we'd have no reason to talk. So I knew it had to be important. And that's when I found out Rita was recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Apparently, her behavior had been strange for a while. Adrian insisted she see a professional a few months ago, and that's how they got the diagnosis. Not great news, but it explained so much of her irrational, unstable behavior. Here's the kicker, though. She refused to take her medication, and she was skipping therapy sessions. Her therapist even tried to contact Adrian, who had requested to be kept in the loop, but Rita had blocked the therapist's number from his phone. And it gets worse. The party she threw for Derek? It was mostly because Derek had discovered she was acting like a kleptomaniac, stealing things from everywhere. One time, she was even caught shoplifting while with him. Thankfully, Derek knew the store manager's son and somehow got her out of it. He'd been holding that over her head, and that's why she threw him the party. Adrian only found out recently, from Derek himself, who felt guilty about everything and confessed he'd been pressuring Rita. He had no idea it would lead to all this. So, that's probably why Rita stole from our daughter. Maybe for the thrill of it, or to avoid having to use her own money and risk Adrian finding out about her shopping habits. Whatever her reasons, one thing is clear. Rita is not stable. She has no business being around our daughter right now. Adrian told me all this because of our shared custody. He also felt incredibly guilty about leaving her in such a bad state. But he had no choice. This was starting to affect his son, who's already struggled since losing his mother 9 years ago to severe depression after a cancer diagnosis. Adrian couldn't let history repeat itself. I reassured him he was doing the right thing for his child. Our kids only have us, and we have to prioritize them. After our chat, we both felt a bit better. He'd already filed for divorce. And when I told him I'd filed for custody, we acknowledged it would be tough for Rita, but we had no other options. I do feel a little bad that it's all hitting her at once, but I'm hoping her parents will be there for her. They'll need to handle her emotions, which I know will be all over the place when she finds out I'm keeping our daughter until Rita gets herself together. I don't mean to sound self-righteous, but she really needs to focus on getting better for her own sake. And I truly hope she does. Update 3 *. So, Rita's mother called me today. Rita had been served with the papers, and she's been absolutely devastated. My ex-mother-in-law was crying on the phone, and I felt awful for her. I tried to explain why I had to do this, narrating the whole story, including everything Adrian told me. I thought she'd be shocked, figuring Rita must have left out a lot of details to make herself look good. But to my surprise, she already knew. Rita had confessed everything to her parents, the bipolar diagnosis, the stealing, her inability to stop. My mother-in-law said Rita felt terrible but just couldn't help herself. She said Rita needed help, not just professional help, but emotional support, and that we were abandoning her. She even said she felt betrayed, and it was cruel of us. For a second, I was annoyed. Why was she trying to make Rita the victim when we were also victims of her behavior? But then I paused. I tried to see it from her perspective. As a parent, I'd also feel terrible if my child was going through something like this, and everyone was leaving them. I have a daughter, so I could understand that feeling, at least partially. But I also told her that even she, in my position, wouldn't change her mind. She'd look out for her daughter, just like I was looking out for mine. That seemed to make her think. She didn't say anything else, just abruptly hung up. I don't know what to make of it, but I'm hoping things work out for everyone in the end. Update 4 *. It's been almost a year since my last update, and wow, a lot has happened. Rita ended up getting divorced, and despite putting up a fight, she lost custody of our daughter. My daughter wanted to stay with me, and the court agreed. But here's the thing, we didn't end things on a bitter note. Rita actually apologized to both me and our daughter after she lost custody. She promised she would get better, for our daughter's sake. It was really emotional. A couple of weeks later, she told us she was leaving the city, moving out of state to start fresh. She promised to attend therapy and take her medication regularly. We've stayed in touch, and she's been trying to make it up to our daughter by sending her handmade gifts every other weekend. It's a new hobby for her, and it's good for both of them. A lot has changed for me, too. A few months ago, I met a wonderful woman at work, and things are going incredibly well. She also has a daughter, a couple of years younger than mine. They've become the best of friends, which is just amazing to see. My girlfriend and I have a really strong connection, and I'm planning on proposing in a year or 2. We're moving in together by the end of the year, and I'm genuinely excited for what the future holds. Life feels good right now. I'm content. My personal life is great, and most importantly, my daughter is thriving. Hopefully, she'll be able to fully reconcile with her mother someday soon. But for now, everything is fantastic. Thank you guys for all your incredibly supportive comments and messages. It truly means a lot to me. So, here's my question to you. If you were in my shoes, facing an ex-partner who not only betrayed your child but also spiraled so dramatically, what would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments below.